Frederic Oliveira Chevres, also known as Resident Cryptid, is a Brazilian-American electroacoustic composer, violinist, and violist. He writes music inspired by a wide range of genres, from classical to electronic to jazz fusion. He is currently an undergraduate student at Berklee College of Music, majoring in composition and game and interactive media scoring with a minor in orchestral conducting. I first met Freddie through SoundCloud. I shortly after joined his Discord server and began participating in his Fragments Game Jam competitions. Both the Discord server and the Game Jam competitions have been invaluable in my growth as a composer. Freddie is a very creative composer. I admire his work a lot. He has a Substack newsletter where he talks about all things video game music, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, here's my interview with Freddie.
All right, Freddie, how you doing?
Doing good. It's been a very busy start to the semester, my last year of college, and I've also got 2 studio jobs right now. So my
Nice.
time is very, very full of things to do.
Very precious.
Yes,
Tell
that's
us a little bit more about your studio jobs. I'm interested to hear about that.
Yeah, there's one that well, one of the studios I'm audio directing at, and the other I'm just a composer that's been tasked with writing all of the more bonkers full of meter changes, like boss themes.
Oh, nice. For video game.
Yes, both of them are for games. One's an RPG, one's a rhythm game that is launching, I believe, at the end of the spring in
But a
26.
rhythm game with meter changes. That sounds like
That
fun.
I'm excited about that. We have another composer on the team. We might be bringing someone else on, not entirely sure, but the other composer's been doing all the production heavy stuff, like the rock tunes, the EDM tunes, because every character in this game has a different genre attached to them, which is one of the more fun things that I've gotten to work on.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and mine are the more classical jazzy tunes and like some
They're
lo-fi
kind of-
stuff.
Their personalities reflect the music genre.
Yes, and their backgrounds. So one of them is like this like disgraced like rock star. Another set of characters are these like they're like a hip hop duo that has beef with each other, and as their level progresses, like they come to an understanding. It's really fun.
Nice.
Super excited for this project.
Awesome. Well, maybe we'll talk some more about that. All right, so we can just jump right into my questions for you. We're going to begin talking about the Fragments Game Jam that I've been participating in, all 3 so far, so I've really been enjoying it. So what inspired you to come up with the Fragments Game Jam?
Yeah, so I believe it was I think it was last summer that I participated in the Lone Rabbit composition jam. And I was surprised that there weren't as many composition jams like that on itch.io up until this point. A couple of other folks, after leaving that one, came up with their own ideas for a music-based jam, like the Impressions jam is one that I've seen. There was a Minecraft sound pack one that I really wanted to participate in, but I didn't have time. And I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if we had one that was based around a compositional technique of some sort, where I'm like, hey, y'all want to write a round or something like that? And we can, share some, like, originally, actually, it wasn't supposed to be what it ended up being. I wanted to do something that was based on a harmonic fragment, where it's like, hey, this is a chord progression, you have to use it at some point. Or here's, like, a recognized melody, like the DZ array, which I actually did do the first time.
Yeah.
And then I deviated from that.
No, I like how you are changing it up. You're not just sticking to, okay, here's a harmonic progression you have to put in your composition. You're being creative with it. Whereas, okay, DSE ray, canon, and
There's
then
the point by orchestra, which was one of my favorites.
Which one?
The point by orchestra. Where you have a set amount of points and you have to set up your ensemble, like, and each instrument costs a certain amount of points.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't with the fragments.
Yeah, that was one of the mini game jams where you had a week instead of 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's one of the smaller ones. I do plan on bringing that back at some point.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out. All right, so what is your favorite part about hosting the Fragments Game Jams?
I think one of my favorite things about it is just how different everyone's entries tend to be, based on their interpretations of both the theme and the fragments themselves. Where I'm not trying to pigeonhole people into doing, say, like, write a forest theme and you have to use a round that does specifically this. I'm like, I don't know, like, write something that has something to do with the refusal of the call, and you have to write, like, using the DZ array at some point.
I have a confession to make. So I've been reading this game developer's book. I don't have it on hand. And I didn't know that refusal of the call was like one of the storyline formulae. So you're aware of my interpretation of that.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And like part of it is that like I do some things like these and I'm thinking I hope someone takes it literally or like someone like they're like so the hero hears something and they like totally ignore it. I'm like that's not what the trope is.
I love
it.
I was thinking of like, man, I hate it when you get phone calls of like, someone trying to sell you something. So I was trying to think of like, how could we make a video game of that?
See, that would genuinely make for a really fun game.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes the sillier the concept, the more entertaining it is.
Right?
There's a slight like bit of a tangent, but in one of my classes we were able to come up with like a concept for a game for our entire project, and a friend of mine took something that our professor said as a joke in another class that we have together and turned it into the game. So now we get to see progress updates on a game called Underwater Werewolves, a murder mystery, and it's so fun. It's so goofy that it's like, I have to play this. I need to know what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those titles that definitely grabs your attention.
It definitely is. Like, I'm hoping that, like, she actually makes it. It's a visual novel.
All right, so my next question. Have you ever considered participating in your own game jams? Why or why not?
I have thought about it, but sometimes I feel like I would end up kind of... Well, I don't want to risk like people feeling like they can't give honest feedback because I made the jam, or people being like, "Hey, if you placed, did you rig the vote? You rigged the vote because you placed." Yeah. Not that I would. I don't think I would.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would think you would, but it is. I think I agree. It is a little. It makes it seem a little skewered if you're participating in your own.
And and I feel like it's also very dishonest to do it under a different username.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's like, hey, like that's just you. And what are you doing? Like, I would love to at some point in the future, but I have my hesitations. I would probably just write the music and send it in the Discord server instead of like having it be an official entry.
Yeah. As opposed to officially competing, you could be like, "This is what I came up with," and then
I'm like, "Hey, look."
Yeah.
And now it can't rig anything.
Right. There you go.
Some of these themes have been fun. I'm like, oh man, I'd love to do a point by orchestra myself.
Well, you probably don't have time.
That too.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something I'm doing for a job anyway, and I'm like, hey, but I might as well like apply this to the thing I have to do for work. Yeah. It's like fun too.
All right. So these next questions are going to be about your resident cryptid artistic name. What is the origin of this name? Because I think the first time I saw it, I just associated it with like Resident Evil.
Honestly, I love the Resident Evil series, but this has a much more stupid origin. Back in high school, like I was born in Brazil, but I went to high school in Florida. Went to this performing arts school that had a very large Hispanic population, and this is important because the only foreign language they offered was Spanish. So we were all already speaking the language, and we were stuck in a very entry-level class where it's like, hey, where is the bathroom? Right? So a bunch of us would finish our work really quickly and then would just go do something else. I was one of those people. And after a certain point, because they wouldn't see me in class that often because I would just finish my work and leave to go like TA for the middle school groups. If it was a 6 through 12 school, I was usually like helping our director out with the other orchestras. I would leave so often that they would never see me, and they'd be like, at this point, it's like seeing you is like seeing a cryptid. You are the Spanish class's resident cryptid. And I was at some point looking at how I wanted to go about releasing my music, because at that point I was still below the age of 18 and I didn't want to share like my name or any of my identifying information online. So I'm like, what's the stage name gonna be? I went through a bunch of options and I thought about that. I said, that's really stupid and really silly, so I'm gonna go with that. And I never changed it.
I feel dumb, but I don't know what a cryptid is. I'm gonna look it up. We can do
stuff like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, like the Fresno Nightwalker, those guys, yeah.
Interesting. So it's like a mythical creature kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I kind of wish it was like a Resident Evil thing, because like that's a lot cooler.
Oh, what about the slashes? Where did those come from?
Honestly, I was just like drawing out logo designs at that point, and I was like, oh, the slashes look cool in the logo, so I'm gonna put it in like the name. And then I never used the logo. So it's like, I guess it's been left over as a remnant from that era.
Do you think you're ever gonna just stop using Resident Cryptid and use your real name?
At this point, probably not. That said, I usually end up being credited as like Frederick Resident Cryptid Oliveira Chevres anyway, so it's like it's nice in some spaces when I just don't need people to know my actual name, but it's not hard to find it anyway.
That's the cool thing about having such a unique artistic name is like I Google Robert Rutledge and is like everyone but me pops up.
No, that's awful.
But I'm kind of at the point where it's like, well, I think I'm the only Robert Rutledge making music. So like,
That helps.
yeah. So
Yeah,
and
one of
I
my friends has had to deal with that. Like, she made the mistake of releasing an album, which is fantastic, but she released it under her nickname, just Mari. And a lot of people like couldn't find it because if they would look up Mari, then her album's not going to come up at all.
yeah. So
She ended up rebranding, which made me very happy.
I was in 3 bands in high school. One was called Amnesia. You look up Amnesia, there's like 5,000 different
Yeah.
Amnesias. One was called Ragtag, and there's also like a lot of those. And then one was called The Electric Fetus, which
Love
has
that.
been like, it's also the name of a record store in Minnesota. So those are the only 2 electric fetuses that I'm aware of up until now. So
That's definitely a memorable name too.
yeah, we
They're
got
like,
a lot
oh
of,
yeah, who are we seeing this weekend? Oh, Electric Fetus.
yeah, we got a lot of notoriety for that name.
Love that.
People
Yeah.
remembered us, I guess.
Yeah, and
All
it's a struggle finding something that like will show up.
And then I was in another band called Bird Brain Breakfast, and literally that name came up out of SEO, search engine optimization. The guy who started the band was like, okay, we need a band name with 3 unique words that no one else has thought of before.
See, I mean,
So-
that's smart.
Him and I
And
actually
people
came up
find
with
you.
it, so I don't know how.
Nice.
Yeah. So, was there one video game in particular that stood out to make you want to pursue writing video game music?
That's a tough question. Like, there are a handful that I remember as a kid I played and was my half sister hated playing these games with me because I would just stop playing and I'd be like, "No, dude, listen to that. That's so cool." Mario
Ocarina of
Galaxy.
Time?
That's one of them. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Those are I did get to play the originals when I was a kid, which
Yeah.
made me very happy. Then I got around to playing the remakes on the 3DS, which was also fun. That and Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and the Mario and Luigi RPGs.
Okay, I never
Which-
played those.
Yeah, Yoko Shimomura did such a good job with the music for those games. I had no prior knowledge of the series. I had no interest in like, looking into it when I was like 9, I think. But I saw them in like a bargain bin at a Walmart when
Okay.
when my parents and I
This is
were
on the
at-
DS, right?
Yes. We were out shopping for groceries, I think. I don't remember. I don't remember why we were at the Walmart. It's probably that. But we picked them up because they were super cheap, and I ended up playing like all of Partners in Time and Bowser's Inside Story in one sitting.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this is so peak. I would love to be able to like write stuff that's this catchy and fun. The storytelling element of these scores is kind of what got me like hooked onto them. Started teaching myself how to play them on like this little keyboard that we had at home. Half the keys didn't work. And after that, when I picked up violin, I was like, I need to learn how to play these on violin. It sounded absolutely terrible because I didn't know how to play violin.
Hey,
But
you gotta
we
start
figured
somewhere.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. I wish I could play violin. I'm a drummer. It's like
Well,
I feel
drums
like,
are awesome.
but they're so easy to play compared
Not
to
for me.
no.
No, like I've tried orchestral percussion, and my dad, like he's also a drummer.
Okay.
And he had a drum set back home. I would be like, yeah, no, like look, I'm playing something, and he's like, you're not even holding the stick right. What's wrong with you? I'd be
Well,
like,
we got a question later on relating to that, so I'm really interested in hearing more about that. So yeah, the Zelda games. I think Ocarina of Time for me, definitely. I love that music. Yeah, I can't think of what else. I used to really love the Pokemon games.
yeah, like Black and White had some of my favorite music in the series.
I think I stopped when I was like, I was pretty old by the time I stopped playing Pokemon. Probably like 14 or 15. But yeah, I made it up to Pearl on the DS.
Nice. Those are also great.
Put
A
a
lot
few-
of classics in like the between Gen 3 up to Gen 5, at least for me.
You credit the Mario and Luigi games and Zelda. What about Wind Waker? Did you play that one?
I did. The Wind Waker soundtrack is so good.
Yeah.
That one's another one. Like every time I hear like it's one of those where you hear the first note, you already know what it is. It's one of my favorite kinds of things. Like, it has such a strong sonic identity to it. Hades is another one where, like, you hear one note, you're like, that's the Hades soundtrack. Love stuff like that. Like, I want to be like you guys. I want to write like that.
All right. So what is your big dream for your music career? Like, if you had one thing you wanted to accomplish, what would it be?
This might be a bit of like a cheesy answer, but like games and game audio just generally have gotten me through so many difficult things throughout my life and have inspired me to become the person that I am today and to do the things that I'm doing now. And if I could do anything, I would love to be able to inspire something like that for someone else. Right, to have like for me, I'll be like, yo, Yoko Shimomura is like one of my biggest influences as a composer. I would not be doing what I'm doing without her music, having been, in some of the games that I played the most as a kid. Kingdom Hearts, dude, peak. It's so good. And if I could be that person for someone else, like that would be enough. I will die happy.
I think that's definitely a real thing where you hear music that really inspires you, and then you say, I want to write music like that so someone else can feel the same way I did when I heard this music for the first time.
That and also being able to pay my bills. That one might be a little unrealistic, though.
Hey, you're good. You're good.
One day.
I wouldn't be afraid. I think video game music is pretty robust.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a very new industry, so there are a lot of developments that are still being made on the technological side of things, and as someone that also loves audio implementation, I'm like, hey, if you don't want me writing music, I can put the music in the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in learning more about that side of things as well.
And like the new Y stuff, like the 2025 update they've got coming out, so good. That's a whole other thing. I'm about to go on a Wise tangent.
Just opening up a lot of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Some awesome stuff you can do with middleware. It's so cool.
All that world is like, I'd like to eventually get there, but I feel like it's so complicated that I want to have enough time to really...
Like, it's got a bit of a learning curve. But once you like figure out some of the basic objects, how they work, you can just start getting silly with it, and it's really fun.
And how much of a programming overlap is there? Because I'm not really all that tech. I think I'm okay with computers, but
yeah, at least for Wise implementation, when you're working within the program itself, there's not too much that you personally need to know in the way of programming. It's less of that and more hierarchy and being able to find all the stuff that you're working on.
Okay.
But getting it into the actual game, when it comes to the programming stuff, usually it is just the developers that are taking the project, and of course you still have to tell them hey, this event triggers this, just so you know, here's all the documentation for the project that I made. Now you put it in the game. It's still good to know though, depending on which engine you're using, knowing the programming language that the game is operating on. It's good to know, but it's not
imperative.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, next question. If you could collaborate musically with anyone, living or dead, who would you choose and why?
In terms of living composers, I think my top two would probably be Christopher Larkin, who worked on Hollow Knight and Silksong, and Lena Raine. You're
gonna say Toby Fox.
Honestly, that's another one.
Okay.
That's another one. It's such a long list.
I just interviewed Max Madness, and that interview literally came out today, and his two choices were Christopher Larkin and Toby Fox.
That's so funny. I think we're all just Silksong brained right now.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. I haven't played it yet.
Soundtrack is so good. I knew it was going to be good going into it because I'm Hollow Knight was fantastic. But there were parts of the game where I just had to stop playing and just go, dang, this is so good.
That's what it's like with Undertale, where the really cool thing about Undertale for me, and this is the only video game I've really played this past year, is I really love the soundtrack has the chiptune side to it, but then there's the other side, which is really orchestral, really beautiful sounding.
Absolutely. It's such a well done soundtrack. Learning about the way that he did some of those tracks. He's oh no, I put it on Audacity and I just slowed it down by 500%. That's this track in the game.
Wow.
I'm that's wild.
Yeah.
But it's so in character for you. Of course you would do that. I love it.
I love the dog song.
Dog song.
That's
classic.
One of the craziest songs I've heard, I think, period, not just in a video game.
And Deltarune too has a lot of really killer stuff in the OST.
I haven't made it to Deltarune. I'm still working on Undertale.
But once you get there, it'll be so awesome. He does a lot, a lot of more experimental stuff compared to the stuff that he did in Undertale, which makes
Okay.
sense. Like it's a game that he's working on now. Undertale's like a couple years old. He's had time to like improve a lot.
Yeah, Undertale's 10 years old now.
That makes me feel pain.
I just discovered it like last year.
Dang.
So
I remember back when like around the time it came out, it was so popular with the people at the school that I went to. Like every Halloween, half the school we dressed up as Undertale characters.
nice.
There were some really good costumes that people would put together. Like there was this Metaton one year that was just I was like, how'd you make that?
Who was the other composer you mentioned?
Lena Raine?
Leanne? Yeah, I haven't heard of.
She's worked on a handful of stuff. Yeah, one of the soundtracks she's the best known for now is Celeste.
I haven't heard of that one.
I will send you the links.
Okay.
It's a really, really, really good soundtrack. And the FMod project for that is also publicly available, and seeing the way that they put all the music in the game is super cool.
What does your composing process look like?
It depends on the piece. Usually, no matter what, I love to start with just a blank sheet of like copy paper, and I start writing down like, what is the goal? What am I trying to achieve with this? Like, what is this for? What part of the game does this play? And if we're talking specifically about game audio, like what instruments am I going to use? What's like the emotional arc of the piece? Is it going to be very stagnant? Do I want it to like crescendo here? And then just like, how am I going to implement this? Is this going to be a branching score, layering score? How am I going to do that? It's just a whole lot of planning. Like it's something that I started doing just because I was like, if I go up to a piano and I just start noodling around, I'm never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true.
And I don't being that now I don't have a piano in my apartment. Like everything you're seeing in the back, that's it. That's all I have. So I don't have a keyboard here. So whenever I rent out a practice room, it's like I have 2 hours on a good day and half an hour on a bad day if everything else is already booked. So like I need to come in here and I need to like leave with something.
Definitely.
After that, I'll go into usually Dorico because I am like such a notation like enthusiast. I love music notation. I can start in a DAW. Usually if it's a more production heavy thing, I'll do it in a DAW. I'll just skip the notation step entirely. Then I just start writing.
Yeah, I think so. I did this one game jam, and the theme was forest, but I
Love
actually
that.
kind of started composing like with my guitar, which I usually don't do that, but that was kind of interesting. And I did use pencil and paper,
Nice.
which I hardly ever use, but so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's always fun. Like, and it's interesting the way whenever I start on a piano, at least personally, my music ends up sounding very different than it does when I start on violin.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the sonic properties are pretty different.
Yeah, and like whenever I start on violin, it ends up being like sometimes I joke that like some of my music, it's like the melody sucks, but the accompaniment goes really hard. Other times it's the total opposite, and I'm like, I feel like you can tell which ones I started on the piano and which ones I didn't.
Maybe.
Would love to ask people to just start guessing, like, what instrument was this composed with?
I bet you could do a whole like scientific experiment. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
especially like bringing in other composers too, just, like who play several instruments, being like, which one did you use to write this? Neither is an option too, I guess. If you're just sitting down and like going at it.
Reminds me of an interview I was watching a few months ago, or I don't know, maybe a year ago now, with Dave Grohl. And he was kind of talking about how his guitar playing style was very heavily influenced by his background as a drummer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was so. It is. I think it is good to be able to play multiple different instruments and then kind of apply what you learn from one instrument to another. Anyways,
That reminds me, I gotta get back into clarinet. Never finished learning it.
all right.
Ugh.
So, what role does technology play in your workflow? You're saying Dorico, but you usually don't start there.
Yeah, I'd like to start on pen and paper. Then I will move my sketches and all that into Dorico or directly into either Logic or Cubase, because sometimes like I love using Logic, but it's only on Mac, and if you're working with other people, you probably want something that's cross-platform. So then I'm like, okay, we can use Cubase, which I also really like. That and sound libraries have played a pretty big role in a lot of my projects, because I can't always record live ensembles. Sometimes you have a rare instrument that nobody you know actually plays, but is like crucial to the soundtrack. Being able to have like access to like well-recorded sound libraries has been a godsend. Even for making demos, where I'm like, this will be recorded, but just so you don't have to hear like stock MIDI.
It's kind of interesting because like you pay the how many ever $100 for the library, and then you have the library.
Right.
Whereas when you're hiring live musicians, you probably are paying them that much for a one-time things.
Yeah, and like I always love to try to get real people on projects, but sometimes we just don't have the budget for it. I go through my scores and I'm thinking, which ones would people notice the most if it wasn't a real person? And then I'm like, okay, we definitely need we definitely need the solo violin. Like that's not going to work if it's MIDI. Well, I play that, so like I can record that myself for free. But like that flute, like that's not going to sound right if it's MIDI. I guess we're gonna have to like dedicate part of the budget to getting a flute player in the studio.
Do you know who Winfred Phillips is?
I don't.
So she did music for God of War.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she has a whole book. I have it on my bookshelf over there, but it's pretty good. I think it's called The Guide to Interactive Music or something.
Writing this down.
Yeah, I can get it for you. I'll be right back. It's literally right here.
Oh, awesome. I've seen this book before. I've seen this cover. Just never ended up actually getting it because I didn't have money on me that day.
I'd recommend it. It's pretty interesting. She talks a lot about what's it called? I'm standing in front of the. She talks about I forget the technical term for it, but basically it's like the train track kind of mechanism where
Branching?
it's similar to branching. That's not the term she uses. But she actually sings choral parts, which I found really fascinating because she's a classically trained singer.
Oh, awesome.
So I think anytime you can use your musical talents. I tried doing that with guitar in this latest submission, but I'm not a very good guitar player.
It's fine. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. All right. So still on the technology, do you use any like advanced MIDI controllers or anything like that?
I used to have a MIDI keyboard, but it decided that it didn't want to work anymore.
So you're literally drawing everything in.
No, I actually have a synthesizer that has a teeny tiny keyboard.
Okay.
And that's been like the MIDI keyboard that I use. I can't play two-handed parts on mine. It's just the one hand going like one part at a time.
And I'm guessing for space as well, you probably don't have a lot of space. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe one day when I like move out of here, I'll be able to get like a solid MIDI keyboard. Like that's the dream. Going back to that, that's the dream. Having a real MIDI keyboard.
There you go. I've got a 49 keyer, and that thing.
Oh, hell yeah!
Just get the job done. It was like $100.
Nice.
All right. So here's the question everyone's waiting for. Are you afraid of the impact artificial intelligence will have on your career?
Personally, no. There are a lot of things that I think that might be like automated using AI in the near future, but I don't think that it would fully be able to replace a human composer or a human audio implementer in my lifetime. There are a lot of like small like decisions that have to be made by like the creative team that unless you're okay with a totally soulless project that is like directly ripping from other things that were done, regardless of context, like I don't know. I don't think it would be able to like replace the entire team.
Definitely.
Every game has like because at least my approach to scoring is usually based around the gameplay mechanics as well. And that is something that is going to be so different depending on like what project it is that you're working on. Like you wouldn't score an open world RPG the same way that you would score, say, like a platformer, if that makes any sense.
And that has all to do with psychology, right?
That too, yeah. Like, all these decisions, like, it's not something that you could just type into ChatGPT and say, give me a soundtrack, unless you didn't care. Which is like, okay, cool. There will be at least some studios that like would probably want something a little more like finely like fine-tuned for their game.
Yeah, it's just like a really kind of depressing mental image of some guy like just tweaking AI output.
No. Yeah, and I feel like at the end with I don't quite recall the names of the programs that people have been using to like create AI generated music, but the outputs that I have heard sound so artificial and like I don't know, I wouldn't particularly enjoy hearing that in a game if that were something that I were to encounter.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about it because they are saying that, I mean, like, and I haven't really listened to all that much AI generated output, but what they're saying is it's getting to the point where you can't tell what's real from what's not. And that's getting to be that way with graphic design as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary, but I have faith that, you know, probably not in our lifetimes, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. So, all right. So moving on. So I understand it says on your website, you said, had you not picked up violin in 2015, you would have been a percussionist. You were telling me your dad is a percussionist. Tell us a little bit more about that. I'm interested in hearing that.
Yeah, so when I first started taking like music lessons at all, I was about 11. It was piano, not violin. And I had been playing for a couple months when I caught wind that there was a performing arts school in my general vicinity. And I was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool to audition? Like I don't have any real like musical skills. I just know how to play a couple of silly little video game songs on the piano. So I don't know if I'll get in, but it's worth a try." I go in, they're like, "We have two instrumental music departments. One is orchestra, one is band. You cannot be a piano player if you're going to go into these departments because we can't guarantee that you'd have a part in every piece. So you have to pick either a woodwind, brass, percussion instrument and go into band, or pick a string instrument and go into orchestra." I was like, I don't necessarily care that much which one I go into. Like, it doesn't make a huge difference to me. Put me wherever. But they needed more people in orchestra, so I ended up becoming a violinist. Had the coin toss gone the other way, I would have been in band, and I definitely would have been an orchestral percussionist.
Interesting.
Which is
I never
really funny, like thinking about how being a violinist has affected my music a lot. So to think about what it would have been like the other way around, I'm like,
It probably would have. I mean, look at me. Who's the more successful composer between the two of
me.
I know, man.
It's like it's one of those things where I find it's really cool because it's not like a detriment to any, like your instrument is not a detriment to like your music. It's just the way you approach it is so different. A lot of my friends in the game scoring department are percussionists, and they're doing a great job.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So I never graduated from music school, but I did 2 years for my bachelor's before I switched majors to Spanish. But when I was at Ohio State, drummers and singers were like the most looked down upon.
No, that's terrible. And like that's so wild to me because like the singing isn't easy, and neither is playing the drums.
Well, at least for drummers, like, you know, people were like, "Oh, you guys don't even have to worry about notes or scales or things like that."
As if they'd be able to play half the stuff y'all have to play. I don't have the coordination for it.
Yeah. Well,
like if you're playing the violin, all you have to worry about is like where's your finger going and like what are you doing with the other hand?
I think there's more to it.
Like bit of a simplification, but like.
Well, and then the other thing is like, you know, you could play a song on a violin. You can't really play a song on a drums. I mean, you can, but
you can figure it out. Like there's also like it's not all every cadence has to be like a harmonic one or a melodic one. Like there's also rhythmic cadences. I might be a little like I'm just like going so hard to defend percussion. I'm writing a thing for strings and percussion right now, and I'm having way less fun with the strings than I am with the percussion.
Well, that's how it goes. I mean, I kind of had a similar experience when I started. You know, I took a lot of years off from music in general, mostly because of COVID. I was like, oh, live music is doomed, blah, blah, blah. But when I started writing music on my computer again about, I think, a year and a half ago now, that was one of the first things I was really drawn to was strings.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I had the music theory background, and it was like really cool just kind of seeing the parallelism there between the choir and the strings section. So
awesome.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So haven't done anything with strings in a little while, but hoping to do some more. All right.
Fun stuff you can do with them.
Yeah. All right. So also on your website, you said you are hard of hearing in your left ear. Tell us a little bit more about that and how it's been a challenge for you in your music career.
Mixing is a pain, for one. A lot of the time I end up having to go through a couple of friends where I'm like, hey, does this sound all right? I can't verify for you because this may be stereo, but half the time I'm mixing, like, not mixing in mono, but I kind of pan everything over to, like, the side that I can hear everything very clearly on. For me, it's like a dip in frequencies.
On your right ear.
Yeah, so unfortunately, because I play violin, like everything goes on this side. So oftentimes I'm just kind of like, I hope that was in tune.
And was this something you were born with, or is this
It's just gotten like progressively worse over the years. Don't know why, but it's like.
Is it from playing violin?
No.
Huh.
We've never really been able to figure it out. That said, I do have Crohn's disease, and that screws up my immune system. So my working theory is that it might be related to that, but we stay silly.
Tell us more about the Crohn's disease.
Oh man.
Oh,
Oh, that's a long story.
okay.
But the TLDR is that we didn't know that I had that until I was about 16.
Wow.
And at that point, I had been having a lot of health issues over the years, but I had a very incompetent doctor. Like, no hate to her, but like that really sucked. As we'd go in, I'd be like, I'm in pain, everything hurts, help, and she'd say, "You're fine, you're good. There's nothing wrong with you. Your blood tests are normal," which was a lie. They weren't. They were so wildly out of range that we were like, is this grounds for a lawsuit?
Probably.
I don't know if I could legally do anything about it at this point, but we should have done something back then. It was the end of 2019. I was playing a couple of string quartets at a concert, and I was in a chamber group and a symphony. So I was like, I do kind of have to be at that concert. I'm one of the only people that learned my part. So I feel bad not going. They didn't let me go to rehearsals because I was already like way too sick to be there, but they could not stop me from going to the concert. So I'm like, we're going to perform. Yay, performance is over. I go to my mom. I'm like, I am so unwell. Please take me to the emergency room. And after that, they ran a bunch of tests. They were like, your C-reactive protein levels are so high that it could be cancer. We don't know what's up with you, but you are not leaving.
So you're just like
And
really low energy, kind of.
yeah, low energy. My joints were like so messed up. I could barely play my instrument properly because like it hurts so bad.
Sounds something similar like with my younger brother. He has Lyme disease.
For me, they ended up finding an abscess like right around the valve that connects to the small intestine to the large intestine. And the only thing that was keeping that from like causing a lot of problems is this little teeny tiny bubble of pus. If that had popped, I would have gone into septic shock and died that weekend. I spent about a month in the hospital.
Wow.
And it was actually during that time period, because before that, I was kind of wishy-washy on whether I wanted to do music professionally. I was like, I'm going to be a neurosurgeon and just do music for funsies. At that point, I was like, you know what? If I like have another one of these health crises and I actually die, I want to die doing something I care about.
Hell yeah.
So then I went into music.
God.
The
But it's
Crohn's
under
War.
control now?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better now. The medication that I'm on has been working. The only like the big downside of it is that my immune system is always like suppressed, because if it's not, then it's going to start attacking my body, and that would suck. That would not be ideal.
Yeah, that
But
would not be ideal.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been good. It's been chill lately, fortunately.
I know my little brother, I think he kind of had a similar instance where he had Lyme disease and he didn't know it for the longest
Oof,
time.
it sucks. Like you're just like, oh, I feel like trash, but you end up convincing yourself that it's all in your head sometimes. And
Well,
people like don't help either. They'll be like, no, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
and I kind of had a similar experience myself, like when I was studying music and I was practicing like so many hours a day, I started having numbness and tingling in my hand.
Ooh,
And thankfully it's taken care of now.
that's
But
good.
it took
That's
me,
scary.
it was scary. But I had the same experience where I went to the doctor and they're like, oh, take some anti-inflammatory pills.
I feel
And
like that's not helping me.
I think physical therapy is what really ended up helping me. So you think the hearing loss might have something to do with that?
Yeah, sometimes the thing with Crohn's is that in the way that it can start, your immune system can start going even more nuts and start attacking other things, which is like one of the big things that differentiates it from something like ulcerative colitis. For some people, they start having skin problems, which also happens to me. And there's not that much research that has been done on on whether or not like the hearing loss thing can be tied to that, but there are a couple of studies out there.
Interesting.
It's something that I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gave up on trying to figure out why it's happening. I'm just
I
kind of
mean,
like, it is what it is. It's not gonna ruin my career. At least the other one works.
yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do, really, is you
And
can
it's
drive yourself mad. I know in my case, and then in my little brother's case, I mean, we would go down these rabbit holes on the internet, like,
you look up anything and Google tells you that you're gonna die. And you're just like, whoa.
right?
I'm not
So,
gonna. I'll be fine.
yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is just not worry about it, I guess.
I'm like, I've made it this far. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's cool that you're able to, not let that affect you too much.
Yeah, my friends don't mind proofreading my stuff. At least
Yeah,
they're cool.
finding a good right-hand man, I guess.
Yeah, and like, and
Oh,
that's another thing with like within the DAW, looking, I can usually tell if something is like super messed up based on the metering.
okay. Yeah,
I'm
there you
like,
go.
that doesn't look right.
Talk about the role of technology.
Let's go.
There you
Like,
go.
shout out technology.
Okay, next question. So I understand you've already scored a handful of indie games, which congratulations. I mean, that's
Thank
better
you.
than I can say.
Hey,
Uh,
we'll get there one day. There's so many indie games
yeah.
being made, they always need a composer.
All right. So without hurting anyone's feelings, what was your favorite game to score or one that was particularly challenging to you that you think really helped you grow as a composer?
I think so far one of the ones that I've had the most challenges with has been the rhythm game that I was talking about earlier, which is Ghost Jukebox, currently being developed by folks over at Studio Blue Jay. It's not been bad. Like, for the record, it's not challenging negative. It's challenging, like, in the sense of getting all of the stuff to work in Wise. Where I'm like, okay, we have this branching system for all the levels. That's all fine and good. But with all the, like, the moving parts we have between that and the way that we're going about implementing these, like, every character will have their own specific sounds that are used for, like, the good, excellent, missed, like, in terms of timing for the notes. There are times where like the melody drops out depending on how well you're playing. It's all stuff that I've never had to do by myself in Wise, so that's had a bit of a learning curve.
So just like a lot of different possibilities and having to balance all those different possibilities kind of.
Yeah, and making sure that everything stays musical the entire time, because I don't want the player to hear like a cut in the music, like, oh, we finished gameplay, hard cut to the next section. Like,
The
that
transitions.
sucks, yeah. I don't want it to sound like audio that's being played back in a game. I want it to sound like music that was written for your specific experience. And another thing with this project is that I'm not the only composer on it. So sometimes it's not that I'm working with my own stems where I can just go back into the DAW and like re-export everything and fix it myself. I have to be like, at other composer, sorry to bother you again, but
Okay,
if you could re-export this, that would be really cool.
yeah, I work in something called desktop publishing, and basically I'm like at the mercy of graphic designers because I have to turn their English language publication into foreign languages. So I can kind of relate.
Yeah, you get so used to working by yourself sometimes that when you're like, okay, hey, other person, help.
Yeah, and
But
hopefully
it's a good time though. Like, you gotta like, games are all about working in a team, so
I'm really starting to realize, kind of because of your game jams, I think I do work better in a team.
yeah, I think it's always nice to have like multiple people being able to have input on stuff like this. There are certain things with the same project where I never would have thought to implement it the way that some of our composers and our sound designers have like suggested. I mean, my idea is so silly compared to what you guys want to do. That's awesome. Give me 3 to 5 business days to figure out how to do that though.
And that's the cool thing about your Discord server, where I'm at a point where, I know pretty much everyone there is pretty competent when it comes to music. And so I feel pretty comfortable uploading demos, be like, hey, what do you guys think of this?
Yeah, and it's always so nice. I love seeing people giving each other feedback in there. I'm like, we have a little community thing going. This is great.
I mean, honestly, like, had it not been for your Discord server, I might have just like given up on music entirely.
No. No, that would be so
No, I mean-
awful. Don't do
But
that.
no, I mean, it has been really a cool, and like, I don't use social media anymore. So like, I think Discord and YouTube are pretty much my like last like social interactions I have left. I
No.
mean, other than, here,
Like
but I
real
don't really
life,
know-
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot of people who are like very musically competent, I guess I would say. So thank you for having the Discord channel. Everyone there's been pretty cool.
But yeah, no problem. I always love seeing like little communities form around like particularly game audio because I'm very biased. I love game audio. It makes me happy to see people like enjoying that.
All right, so have you worked in sound design? I'm curious.
I wouldn't consider myself to be a particularly good sound designer, but I have done it before. It's something that I tend to struggle with a lot more than I do with music and implementation. Like, it is probably my weakest point
Sound
in
design.
game audio, yeah.
Okay.
Smaller studios, when they only have the one composer, that composer often ends up becoming the sound designer as well. And that's happened with another project that I'm working on right now, where I'm doing all the complex music and the sound design. figuring out like what your source sounds are going to be, like whether you're going to do stuff using like mostly synthesis or mostly things that you recorded or a mix of both, and like actually recording those sounds and processing them to make them sound like not what they were originally. It's really tricky. People don't give sound designers enough credit.
Yeah, so two things I wanted to mention, and this is probably just kind of random, but it just came to my mind. So I think, a few years ago, I was watching some YouTube video, and the guy was doing sound design for like a character with a scythe, and he used an aluminum can. And I just thought that was like so clever.
It is like there's so many things like that where I'm like, I don't know if I would have ever come up with that independently. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like I'd like to buy one of these days, like one of those handheld Tascam recorders, but
I'm like taking advantage of the ones that we can loan out through the school while I still can.
okay.
I'm like this is like the only thing I think I'm somewhat good at now is footsteps. That's it. I'm good at recording footsteps for characters.
Yeah, it's funny because so the other thing I wanted to mention was there's actually a Robert Rutledge who worked in the sound design for the original Star Wars movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like, it'd be really funny to say, yeah, no, guys, that was me.
Yeah, I think when I was like 18 or something, some guy I went to school with, he like took a picture of the Star Wars credits. He's like, I didn't know you did sound on Star Wars.
No, should have just
Like,
said,
yep,
yeah, I did.
That was me before I was even born.
You're a time traveler.
Yeah, rewind spy. No. All right. We're getting close to wrapping up. Thank you for being here. This has really been great. I've really been enjoying this.
You. Yeah, no, like I'm having a good time too. So
yeah, I don't get to talk music with people as much as I'd like to. So I really have been having a lot of fun. Okay, so what has been your biggest challenge in your studies at Berklee? Time management, maybe?
Yep. That's the big one. I made the very wise decision of double majoring and minoring in something else, all three of which are very different things. Like finding the time, not even to like, because I'm not the type to ever fall behind with my work. I always make sure to get everything in, not even like by the deadline, but before the deadline, because I'm like a little paranoid. I don't trust Canvas. Canvas is weird. Doesn't like me. But my struggle with time management is usually finding time to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, no, I have all these things to do, I have all these things to do, and then I'm like, I haven't slept in 24 plus hours, I have not eaten dinner, breakfast, or lunch. Oh, that's why I feel like garbage. It's my own fault.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah. And you'd think I would have learned my lesson after like the health crises that I've had in the past.
One of the people who kind of inspired me to start doing music again was Avicii. It was really sad watching his documentary because you could just tell this dude wasn't taking care of himself.
Right. It's like it's hard to like follow your own advice sometimes. I have a bunch of friends that also totally overwork themselves. And I'll be like, no, you gotta sleep, you gotta eat, like what's wrong with you? And then they're like, dude, why are you telling me this?
It is hard in college because like I remember when I was at Ohio State, I would like stay up till like 2 a.m. doing music theory homework, and then I'd go to Waffle House and like buy some Krispy Kreme donuts.
Real? Gosh, like sometimes I wish I could just like go down the street and like buy whatever, but because of Crohn's, I have to cook all of my own food.
Oh, okay.
Which also sucks because I don't have time to do
that's
that.
a good thing. Tell you what, just find someone, your partner. They can be good at cooking, and
well, you take care of that while I write the funky little tunes.
Yeah, it'll be set.
That would be pretty sick, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, no, like, time management is like the biggest thing for me. That and saying no to people when they're like, hey, can you work on my project? Hey, would you be able to play for my project? Would you be able to do this? Would you be able to do that? I tend to say yes to everything.
You gotta learn the power of no.
Hey, like, everyone and their mother has told me to say no to people, and I try. But sometimes I'm like, oh man, no, but I technically don't have anything I'm doing. And it's like, that's my sleep time. I should be sleeping. Why am I going to a studio at 2 a.m?
Yeah, it's probably not great. But I'm glad you didn't say no to this interview because it's a really great time.
Like, this is cool. I usually say no to people where I know I'm going to have, like, the most infuriating 2 hours of my life. You'd be surprised to see what people put in, like, their film scores, where it's like they clearly don't understand the instrument that they're writing for, and then they get mad at you when they wrote the unplayable part. And you're like, hey man, that note doesn't exist on the viola. And they're like, no, like, just detune your instrument. Just, like, detune it. No. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that. Give this to the cello. These people cannot be the same people that like passed their orchestration classes. Like you're at this point. This is your senior capstone,
Well,
and you're writing unplayable music.
Dorico should tell them. I
It
mean,
does. That's the thing. It highlights the notes in red. I don't know how they do this.
they're just trying to mess with you.
I'm doing it specifically to spite me.
Well, I guess so. My advice for you, when you're in college, you definitely are pretty overwhelmed. But then when you get out of college, it's like you kind of have the opposite problem where you're like, oh my gosh, I have all this time.
Right. A lot of my friends have been going through that. Like, a bunch of them that graduated in, like, the class of 25 have been like, now what? I'm so afraid of getting to, like, the now what stage.
All right. So what is next for Resident Cryptid? Obviously, you're graduating.
Yes.
Do you have any
terrifying.
jobs? I guess I said the J word, but
The
do you have
J-
anything?
the J word.
Do you have anything lined up?
Right now, like, I intend on sticking with Studio Blue Jay after they finish this first project, continuing as their audio director. I'm looking into internships that I can apply to for composition, for sound design, for implementation, like literally whatever I can get. I had originally wanted to go into grad school, but it's turned out that that's not going to be possible for me right now for personal reasons.
For me, I did do grad school for Spanish, for translation. And I think it did kind of get my foot in the door, but I think for music, I've heard your music. You have a very professional web presence. Your website is very professional, but you still have a sense of humor about it. I mean,
people got on my ass for like the jokes I put in my website.
They what?
Like they were just like, no, you can't be silly on your professional website. And I was like, come on, you're no fun.
Yeah, I mean, if it's video games,
right? I'm like, I'm not a concert composer that's like, I am this super professional individual and I'm writing avant-garde concert music. I'm like, I'm writing silly little music for silly little games. Like
that's what like kind of this whole career transition I'm trying to do is like a lot of it has to do with that. Like I was on LinkedIn for the longest time and it's just like you get sick of people just like self-promotion and this whole professional development. Yeah,
it's so like it feels so impersonal a lot of the time, and I personally don't love that when it comes to branding. I'm like, who are you though? Like, okay, you do this thing, your work will speak for itself. You don't need to be like, super weird about it.
And like starting my YouTube channel has been kind of liberating because I can feel like I can be myself,
Nice. Well, that's always the best thing. Like when I was designing my website at first, I made mine before I got here. We have to take this whole professional development seminar course at some point while we're going through school, but it's funny because it's every major like in one group. So you have most of my section was full of songwriters and performers, and I was the only video game composer. So I felt really, really weird having to listen to like everyone talk about like, this is how you network to become a professional guitar player, and I'm like, that's cool, I guess. Awesome.
Yeah.
But they would be like, your website's so like goofy. Are you sure you want that to be your vibe? And I'm like, yes. Hey. Especially like to contrast with the rest of it, which is a little like on the more like creepy side, I guess. I don't want people to think that I'm like a weirdo.
No, I mean, what's wrong with being a weirdo? That's what I would say.
That's true. I'm like, let me be silly and goofy. I just compromised by adding a button where it's like, here's a different version of the same text.
Yeah.
This is what y'all wanted me to put on the site. Look, it's there.
No, I think your website is very professional, to be honest, but still fun. So, all right. So I have 2 more questions for you. I didn't send them to you.
Ooh, surprise questions.
Surprise questions. These are the fun questions.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Honestly, anything can be an instrument. Unfortunately, because I am a composition major, we are encouraged to do the most, like, goofy shit. To me, anything is an instrument. I've used mason jars in a concert piece before.
I went to New Orleans, and they had the wine. There was someone with, like, the wine glasses.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You can get some really killer sounds out of, like, just everyday objects. Like, unironically, mayonnaise is an instrument.
All right. We'll have to put
Hot
that
take
on
of the day.
That's going to be the thumbnail.
Mayonnaise is an instrument.
It's going to be your face. Mayonnaise is an instrument, and is going to be in italics.
Yes. Wonderful. This is how I want to be remembered.
All right. Last question for you. Putting you on the spot. Favorite Zelda game?
That's evil. Oh, that's messed up. I'd have to say Majora's Mask.
Okay.
That one's still my favorite. between like the music, the tone of the game, the like I always tend to gravitate towards like darker storylines
It makes sense.
and like
for
that
you, I think.
impending doom sense that you get in that game. It's so good. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid. It's still one of my favorites
Yeah, me
now.
too. Me too. No, definitely. I don't know. I think for me, Ocarina of Time, it brought me more peace. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
That's
Majora's
fair.
Mask. I love the darkness. It's like a yin and yang, right? I mean, can't really talk about one without the other. But
They're both
yeah, I mean,
fantastic.
I'll tell you what I didn't like about Majora's Mask:
Mhm.
not being able to beat it and having to turn back the clock, and that kind of pissed me off.
That's fair.
I think that's why I liked Ocarina of Time better, is because I was just like kind of hanging out,
Yeah, you didn't have like the pressure of the moon, like just
about to crash into Earth, and then like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta change back time again. Damn it!
I remember I didn't know that when I was a kid at first when I was playing this game, and I was like, "What the fuck? Is this a skill issue? Am I
You're
just
like-
not good at this game?" And then I'm like, "Oh, it's a mechanic.
You're like, why is the moon crashing? Oh,
Ah, I'm playing it wrong."
yeah. No, I never got very far into Majora's Mask, which I guess I kind of regret.
Yeah, it's a good one. I don't know if they've put it out on like the Switch emulator thing that they have going on with Switch Online. I haven't checked that in a while.
Yeah, this is the only one I've beat. I beat Breath of the Wild. My little brother was there, and I
Oh,
was like, I finally beat a Zelda game.
yes.
But I don't know. I thought it was too easy.
It was. It was. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's just me being insane. Like modern games often feel a lot easier than like the stuff that I played when I was younger.
Well, anything else you wanted to add?
I don't have anything cool coming up besides like an album that's releasing on October 31st.
Oh, nice.
So mark your
Is that
calendar.
going to be video game music, or is that just going to be your own solo project?
It's a lot of like stuff that was originally chamber music that I wrote for the composition department because I have to fill out a portfolio before I graduate.
Okay.
That I just turn into a lot of like synthesizer, like really crunchy and aggressive sounding
Chiptune?
stuff. Not quite chiptune, just really aggro synth.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like. But the first track on the album was a violin solo. It was really hard. I couldn't play it, so I turned it into a synth solo. It's gonna be fun.
I was going to say it might coincide perfectly with me uploading this video to YouTube, but I think my schedule has this as November. So.
Ooh. Hey, like it'll still be good timing.
Yeah, right.
It's close
Okay.
enough.
So go listen to Resident Cryptid's new album, everyone. Well, thank you so much, Freddie.
Thank you.
It's been great having you, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Super excited for the next jam.
All right,
Starting to
take care.
plan those out. Very hyped.